Hi there. Welcome to Pink News You Can Use, January 2nd, 2012. Woohoo! Brand new year. I'm excited. Are you? I hope you are. Today's all about record keeping and taxes. And so I don't want this to be more than 15 minutes. So I'm going to talk fast, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today is taxes and record keeping. You may not like doing it, but it's something that you need to develop. If you're just doing Mary Kay for personal use, well, you know what? You're probably not watching this. So I'm going to assume that if you're watching this, if you took the time to click on this link and watch it, then you care about your business enough to need to keep records. Okay. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be hard. I'm going to assume if you're watching this, you have a computer. And so if you have a computer, you can do this quite easily. But there are two aspects to record. The reason you want to keep records is because then when you do your taxes, it's a breeze. It's not hard at all. If you've been in Mary Kay and you haven't been very good this past year in 2011, you have a new start now. So you may have to do a little bit of work to catch up from 2011 for your taxes, but start the new year right, okay? So there are two aspects to this Mary Kay business. One is your sales, the product that you sell. Okay, you're an independent contractor. You are not an employee of Mary Kay Cosmetics. You do not get a W-2 from Mary Kay. If you start making lots of commissions because you have personal team members, or you're a sales director and you have commission checks, or you win lots of prizes, star consultant prizes, whatever, you're going to get from the company something called a 1099, and it lists the value of the prizes you received or the commission checks you received from your personal team members this year. But you don't get a W-2 because you're not an employee, okay? You're self-employed, okay? Self-employed people with businesses do a Schedule C, profit or loss from a business. If you give your taxes to your accountant, he's going to be doing a Schedule C. And if you have him do that, great. If you do your own non-turbo tax or whatever, you can still do it, okay? But you have to keep records first. Sorry for coughing. Okay, so you have to keep track of your sales. First of all, let me just tell you this. When you get your order, every time you get an order, in that side, that order is an invoice. Keep the invoices. Keep them, keep them, keep them. Even if you get one of those accordion file from Walmart, those accordion file folders, you know, with the big rubber band around it or whatever, and then put invoices, product invoices. Just keep them from all year long. Okay, it keeps track of what you've bought from the company, not what you've sold, but what you've bought. Every time you get an order, okay, so sales. So you need to take an inventory of what you have on your shelf right now, end of the year, okay, or beginning of the year. So I would take an old order sheet, like if you can find one of these, if you have one from an Applause magazine, just take the order sheet and look at your product and sit down and with a pencil mark, just mark down what you have on your shelf. And then at the end, you can add it all up yourself, or even smarter, input it as an order, like you were going to place an order for it. Print, at the bottom it'll say see or print entire order. Print it out and you will have a record of what you had on your shelf at the end of the year. Okay, makes sense? Then you can delete it because you're not going to place the order, but you have it written down. You with me? Okay. But you can start by using one of these. Okay. So you need a record of everything that you have on your shelf. Okay. Now, when it comes to your sales, let's pretend you got an order in November and you took everything out of the box and put it on your shelf. Number one rule, when you take something off your shelf, it goes to one of four places. You sold it, so you have a sales ticket, okay? Number two, you took it off your shelf to use for yourself, personal use. Number three, you took it off your shelf to give to your mom for Christmas. Number three, or number four, you took it off your shelf to use at a class, like a microdermabrasion set, or the satin hand set to use that before you do a class, or the satin lip set, yeah, whatever. So every time you take product off of your shelf, you better keep track of that, okay? And so what I do is literally take a piece of paper, just like this, and I write at the top up personal use, and then or you can make columns. One says personal use, one says gifts, and one says samples. Okay, and when you take something off your shelf, you're either writing a ticket because you sold it, or you're just going to jot down oil for makeup remover, personal use, or SH, satin hands for samples, or SH, satin hands for because you gave it to your mom, and I would put in parentheses mom or sister or brother or whoever you gave the gift to. At the end of the year, you have a list of everything that you took off your shelf for sample, personal use, and gifts, right? And then also in your sales tickets, you have a receipt for everything. In the olden days, what we used to do is everyone that you take care of, let's say you're a nurse and you go to work and you haven't facialed all the women at work, but some of them buy product from you. Every person that you sell to, you should fill a profile out on, okay? I don't care if all she buys is a mascara from you, you should have a profile on her. So carry them in your purse. And if you're at Walmart and someone sees your Mary Kay pin and they go, oh, Mary Kay, I just moved here from Chicago and I need a consultant, you go, great, terrific, here, I'm going to call you or let me get a couple things from you. If you have a customer that you sell to, you need to know her email. You need to know her cell phone. You need to know her personal mailing address. You need to know what she does, when her anniversary is, what her husband's name is, what his cell phone number is, what her birthday is. You want to know all that stuff. And then you're going to come home and either pay your teenage kid in product to do it, or do it yourself on a weekend night when you don't have anything else to do and you're really bored. You go into Mary Kay In Touch and you literally put everyone in touch. So you can throw this piece of paper away. This should be such a paperless business. So all your customers are on Mary Kay In Touch. Whenever you want to know what she uses, you go in there. You can, if you're at a skincare class or you're at work and you sell an oil for makeup remover and a Love Lash mascara, you can come home and Susie's name is in touch. Then you can go into Susie and create the order. You can mark it as paid. Have you ever done that? Oh my gosh, you guys, it is so simple. All your receipts will be in there. All your sales to that person. Because when you pull up her name under customers, there's tabs at the top of In Touch. And one says contact history, one says profile, and the profile has all the information that you took from here. And then one says sales history. Everything she's ever bought from you can be in there. You don't have to keep a bunch of papers around. You can throw the sales tickets away because it's all in touch. Make sense? Okay, so how much time? Oh, 7 minutes. Okay, so go to In Touch. Play around. Make up a customer. Put your mom in there if she's not in there. Play around with a couple orders. You can delete them. Learn how to put a sales ticket in Mary Kay In Touch under your customer, because then you won't have to keep any paperwork anywhere. Awesome, right? Right, okay. So at the end of and then when you put it in there, you're going to do every week, pick a time, Sunday night. You know, one of the smartest things Bob and I ever did was Sunday night ended up being pizza night. And I didn't really have to cook, we just got pizza. But it was family night, and it was just kind of sacred. Of course, the girls were 10 and 12 when he passed away, but we had started doing Sunday night pizza night. And then after we were eating, it would be a time to say, okay, what's everybody doing this week? Okay, Kelly, you've got dance, you've got a volleyball game, Brennan, you've got piano, whatever was happening. And as a family, we could kind of plan our week out and know what was happening. And I could say, I have my meeting tomorrow night. Tuesday night, we got Kelly's volleyball game. Wednesday night, we have Brennan's piano lesson. Bob, you take her to that. I can't. I've got a skincare class, or whatever. You kind of plan your family life. Then afterwards, I would go right in and do my weekly accomplishment sheet from the week before. I don't care if you sold nothing. You need to get in the habit. So on Sunday nights was always a good time for me to do my weekly accomplishment sheet. If I only sold a mascara, it's in there. At the end of the year, Mary Kay keeps track of your year-to-date sales. It is so simple. It's just, if you want to do this business, you have to be willing to click on a couple things. Mary Kay makes it so easy for you to learn. Do you feel like I'm yelling at you? I'm really not yelling at you, but it is so simple as opposed to the olden days 30 years ago when we had no systems at all. Mary Kay puts everything in place for you, okay? Okay, now, so keep track of your sales. At the end of the year, you know how much product you use for yourself. And guess what? All that product is a tax deduction because you're advertisement for yourself. Number two, all the samples are tax deductions because they're helping you build your business. And all the gifts that you give away are going to go under advertising on your Schedule C because you're advertising your product for giving it away. So you want to keep track of all those things, okay? Your sales, your samples, your personal use, and your gifts, okay? Got it. Now, expenses. There are tons of expenses that you might not have realized you could take. In this email, I sent you an attachment, okay? Hopefully, you can stop this right now, put me on pause, and go print that out, okay? Print it out, have it in front of you because we're going to talk about it really quick. I'm up to 10 minutes, so I'm going to talk fast. Okay. A is income. We've already talked about that. B is cost of goods sold. We've already talked about that. C, expenses. Okay, this is the second part. Automobile expenses. Unless you're a Mary Kay car earner, the smartest thing is to take your mileage, okay? When you become a Mary Kay car earner, then you are going to take gas and oil changes and parking and tolls and all that stuff. That's what I do. But when you're a new consultant and you have not earned a Mary Kay career car yet, you need to do the mileage, which means you need to keep track of how many miles you went in your Mary Kay business that year. If you, that's why date books are amazing. Or if you're an iPhone girl or a BlackBerry girl, find somewhere in there. If you'll just jot down where you went that day and how many miles you went, at the end of the year, it's simple to add up that you went 5,000 miles in your Mary Kay business. 5,000 miles times whatever it is that year. I don't know what it is this year because I don't do that. But I mean, ask anybody. They'll tell you it's like X amount of cents per mile. And then that's a deduction. Okay, you guys? Okay, that's that. Okay? When you buy business cards from MK Connections, print out the receipt because business cards are a deduction. If your personal website, $27 your first year as a new consultant, or after that it's $55 a year. That's a tax deduction. It's going to go under advertising. When you do when you do enroll your customers in the preferred customer program for the lookbook, that's advertising. Those under advertising. So we talked about car. Now we're talking about advertising. Under advertising is Mary Kay Connections, MK Connections business cards, your personal website, preferred customer program. Those are three right there that are going to go under advertising as well, I believe, as gifts that you give to people. Promotional products. If you, in the olden days, I used to give. Oh my gosh, what was I going to say? I used to give. Oh wait, I have this wrong. 2, 3. Okay. Subscriptions and dues for business purposes. If you subscribe to Glamour Magazine or Ladies Home Journal or something that you glean information from about glamour or fashion or what's new when it comes to cosmetics, you can deduct the cost of that subscription to Glamour Magazine. Did you know that? So if you get Vogue, Glamour, or anything that helps you in your business, you can deduct the subscription cost. Isn't that cool? Conference fees. When you go to seminar or leadership or a workshop, or you go to your adopted director's meeting and she charges you $10 a month to come to the meeting every Monday night, that's deduction, okay? Unit meeting fees. Purchase of business equipment. If you bought a computer or a laptop or a fax machine or a copy machine or a new telephone and you're using it in your business, you can you keep a list of when you purchased it and the cost of each item, okay? If you bought a desk chair, a file cabinet, anything to help you with your business. If you bought some Rubbermaid tubs to put your product in, to put underneath your bed because you have no place else in your house to put your product, that's a cost of doing business. That's an expense you can deduct, okay? If you get product replacement and liability insurance from the company, which by the way is really cheap, if you have more than $1,000 worth of product on your shelf and your house burns down, God forbid, then guess what? Your home insurance will not cover the cost of that product. But Mary Kay has pretty cheaply product insurance. I think it's $30 a year. Don't quote me. It's inexpensive. And if your car gets flooded, or if someone steals your car, if your house burns down, anything happens to that product, the company replaces it. It's awesome, okay? And the cost of that product replacement insurance is deductible. If you started your Mary Kay business this last year or whatever, or you're using your credit card to build your Mary Kay business with your initial order and you haven't quite finished, you're still paying off that initial note, or you went to the bank and borrowed $1,000 to start your Mary Kay business, and over this last year they've charged you $182 in interest, that is a business deduction because you got the money to do a business. So all your interest is deductible that way. If you have an accountant prepare your taxes, that's a deduction. You can deduct the cost of having your taxes prepared because it's a business. Office expenses. I am so sorry. Business-related office supplies. If you buy cotton balls, if you buy Q-tips, if you buy washcloths, if you buy, I would do at least one. If you do a lot of skincare classes and use washcloths and have to wash them every week, I take at least one bottle of Tide or Gain or whatever every year is one of my deductions because I have to wash those washcloths, don't I? Exactly. Okay. Postage. If you mail anywhere, I love postage. I have tons of postage is one of my biggest because I mail free and I have lots of customers that don't necessarily live in my town. So postage. Are you good at taking receipts from people? When in your purse or your wallet, you need to find a little spot where when someone hands you a receipt, don't toss it. Get in the habit of taking every receipt somebody gives to you. You can figure out later if it's a deduction or not, but keep track. Also, who pays the bills in your family? Do you pay or does your husband pay? Who pays the mortgage? Who pays the rent? Who pays the utilities? Who pays the light bill? Who pays the cable or internet or whatever phone? You need to keep all of those receipts. So if you haven't been doing that, start, or go back through and your bank statements and you want to keep those receipts, okay? Like Bob and I would pay some things, but he would pay others. And at the end of the year, I said, I need all those receipts for the mortgage payments, and he would just hand them to me or whatever, okay? So that you have them in one place. Printing, if you go and have anything laminated or something like that, okay? Okay. Then next, legal office expenses. Okay, other expenses. Service charges. If you have if you have a Mary Kay, an accountant through a bank, if it's just for Mary Kay and they charge you anything for having that account, that's deductible. All the freight charges. Every order that you get costs $8.75. We have to pay Mary Kay for the UPS man to bring it. Every single order times $8.75 this year is deductible because of freight charges, okay? Gifts with purchase. Those preferred customer program premiums, those really come under Section 2. So you keep track of all year long what you ordered, Section 2, and that's all deductible, okay? Bad debt. If somebody didn't pay you, or she gave you a check and it didn't go through, and you haven't been able to resolve that, that's going to come off. That's going to be an expense as well. Credit card processing fees. If you use ProPay, which you should if you don't, because so many people like to pay with a debit or credit card now, all those processing fees, it's like 2% or something of the cost. It's going to come. It's a deduction. And ProPay, you can print out. They will send you. You can go to ProPay and actually print out. Every month, they'll tell you how much you've spent in fees. Clothing expense, your beauty coat, your red jacket, your director's suit, it's all deductible. You guys, the smartest thing you can do this year is spend $35 with MK Connection to get yourself a Mary Kay beauty coat. Wear it to everything. Wear it all the time. I've got an appointment later today. I'm going to put my beauty coat on and a black skirt and go. Okay? So that's all deductible because it's a business. Okay? Repairs and maintenance of business equipment. If your desk in your office falls apart and you have to repair it or whatever, that's deductible. If you paint your office room, the paint is deductible. Supplies, all the Section 2, your starter kit, all that. Travel expenses. Just keep track of if you go to Career Conference in Houston or Galveston or Rhode Island or Sioux Falls or Minneapolis or whatever, keep track of the days on your calendar when you went, okay? Because meals and entertainment, directly related to Mary Kay, you need receipts with the dates and the place. Record the purpose. I went out the other night with someone that I would love to recruit, and we talked business the whole time. I wrote on that F&E, M&E, meals and entertainment. A percentage of that is deductible at the end of the year, okay? And you can bet I just about don't go anywhere where I don't eat that I don't talk to somebody about Mary Kay, okay? Then, Promotional prizes. Okay, in the olden days, I think it's kind of a cool idea. I need to go back to it. If you live somewhere where it's easy to grab a flower, sometimes when I would go to a skincare class, I would literally stop by the Hy-Vee or the H-E-B or the whatever, Safeway or Randall's, and I would get one long stem pink rose, with a little water thing on it. And what I would do is I would present it to the hostess. I would come in and I'd say, you know what, every woman deserves flowers, and here's one long-stemmed pink rose to just tell you how much I appreciate you having this skincare class and this party or this get-together, and I really appreciate you. Well, that's under promotional prizes. It costs me a couple bucks, maybe with a balloon or something, a couple bucks, that's a promotional prize. Anything that I spend at the end of the year when I do... when I have my Christmas open house, I make taco soup and apple cider and all that food. I have those receipts. All that's a deduction. If childcare, if you pay even a high school girl to take care of your kids when you're going to go do your skincare class or you go to the meeting, that's deductible. Your phone. A portion, you can't take the base cost on your first line, but a portion of all your long distance phone calls can be deducted, especially if they're Mary Kay phone calls, okay? Open house expenses, I've already talked about that. If you hired someone to clean up your house before your open house, deductible, okay? Charity donations. If you have some product at the end of the year that's kind of classic that you don't really want to keep around, although I keep mine around and give it away as free gifts when people are buying stuff. I just have a little basket and say, ooh, you bought $30 today. You get to pick something out of this thing. It's all a tax deduction for me. I'm giving it away. It's product given away. But if you really don't want to even see it, you can give it to the local women's shelter. It's all going to be under charitable donations. You can give it to the local high school theater department. It's under charitable donations. You're giving it away, okay? Office in the home. Now, this whole other thing. Oh, I'm at 21 minutes. I got to talk fast. Rent, your mortgage interest, your real estate taxes, your insurance, your utilities, your trash removal, repairs to home, including cleaning of your home, repairs to your office area. What you're going to do is you're going to take however big your office is in relation to your entire house. Let's say your house is 1,000 square feet and your office is 10 by 10. That's 100 square feet. So 100 from a percentage of 1,000 is 10%. 10% of your mortgage interest, real estate taxes, insurance, utilities, rent is all deductible because you have business in the home. The form, your guy will know, is an 8829. So you're going to have a Schedule C and an 8829 for business in the home deductions. So I'm not going to give you any more. That's plenty to get you started. But if you have any questions, please call me. Know that it may seem a little bit overwhelming at first, but it's not that hard, you guys. And if you want to make this be a business and make it work for you, get smart about doing this. It is not that big a deal. That the form that I have here that you can see, if you really want to do it the old-fashioned way like we used to was, you would take 12 of them. You would take 12 of them and get 12 manila envelopes, that would close with the flap, the manila envelopes, okay? And put the part that says deductions, expenses, Scotch tape it to the front and the back of the manila envelope, and all month long, all of January's expenses, receipts that you get thrown in there. Then when you have an easy day in March or February or March, take them out and put the amounts on the right line. At the end of the year, all you have to do is you have 12 of these, okay? And you add them all up and you know what your deductions are. You can hand all 12 of them to your income tax guy or your tax accountant, and oh my gosh, they will love you, okay? You don't have to give them any receipts because they're all in that envelope. So you have 12 envelopes by the end of the year, okay? 23 minutes. I'm sorry it's taking this long, but I think this is really important stuff. Have an absolutely amazing, I have lots to share with you, but we'll talk later next week, okay? Alrighty, have a good one. Take care and happy record keeping.